it's Gabrielle McBay. Welcome back to my channel. Y'all, today I am making my buttermilk fried salmon and grits. It's going to be one of your personal faves in your kitchen. I want to show you how to make it. Let's get started. The main thing is the fried salmon. I'm going to salt and pepper some salmon fillets, fresh salmon fillets. You want these with the skin off, so go ahead and make sure that skin is off. I also like to add some Tony's too to my salmon, just to get a little Cajun flair. I love Tony's. Y'all know how I feel about Tony's. If you follow me on Instagram, you definitely know how I feel about Tony's. So I'm gonna season those front and back. That's very important that we season those front and back, just so that we can make sure our salmon is nice and seasoned all the way through. In a medium bowl, small bowl, I'm going to crack an egg or two, depending on how many salmon fillets you're making. I'm gonna add an egg. I would recommend 2 if you're doing more than 2 fillets, but since it's just me, I only did 1. And then I am going to add buttermilk to this, about a cup of buttermilk. You can also use regular milk, and just add a tablespoon of vinegar to make your own buttermilk. I'm gonna add a little dash of hot sauce in my bag, swag, just because I like hot sauce. I'm from Texas, obviously. Hot sauce has to go. This is honestly just like frying chicken. This is the same batter that I would make if I'm frying chicken. So if you want to do fried chicken with this recipe, you also can do that. But for now, we're gonna do salmon, but you can also do a chicken breast if you want to do like fried chicken and grits. That sounds okay. In another bowl, I'm going to add about a cup of flour, maybe a cup and a half, depending on how many salmon fillets that you're frying. I also recommend kind of doing this in a plate, y'all. I didn't realize that this probably wasn't the smartest thing to do in this bowl. I'm also going to add about a 1/4 cup of cornmeal, just because I like cornmeal. I like the texture of cornmeal. Also, season your flour mixture with a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, and also a teaspoon of Tony's if you can put it in there, just to make sure that your dry coating also has some seasoning. Of course, we putting Tony's in there too. So now we're gonna whisk that all together. You can do that with a fork or a whisk. Just make sure that you blend everything together. And now it's time to go ahead and coat our salmon. All right, so I have my salmon fillet. I'm gonna take this and go ahead and dunk it in the bath. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a nice bath. Make sure that your salmon is nice and coated with your eggs and buttermilk, hot sauce. Then I'm going to dip that into my flour. Get your little station set up. Honestly, y'all, I should have done this on a plate with the flour, just because I couldn't get to, the flour like I wanted to in this bowl. It'll work, but if you kind of have more of a shallow bowl or a plate, then I would put your flour and stuff on a plate. Then I like to double crust anything I'm frying, so I'm gonna dip it back into my into the wet mixture. And then I'm gonna dip it back into the flour. And we're just gonna repeat that. This gets a little messy, so just forewarning you now, your hands will get dirty unless you use a glove, but we at the house, so I'm not using a glove today. Okay, so in a skillet or a deep fryer, I have some oil that's heating up, just like you frying chicken. I'm gonna go ahead and put my salmon fillet in there. You don't want your oil too hot, because your salmon is gonna overcook on the outside and probably be a little raw on the inside, just like chicken. So you wanna just make sure that your oil is kind of like at a medium temperature. And we are going to fry that on each side for about 3 to 4 minutes. We're not moving it in the skillet only until we flip it, just like this. So you'll start to see your salmon fillet start to brown. I use my little small cast iron for this. If you have a little bit of a bigger skillet, you can use a bigger skillet, but just for the sake of the video, I did it in my small cast iron just because I'm only frying salmon for myself. So we're gonna wait, do that for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side as well. And there, we just got beautiful salmon. We want our salmon to look just like that, nice golden brown. It looks just like fried chicken, the coating of fried chicken, but it's salmon fillets. All right, so this is a little extra bonus. If you want to add a little sauce to your fried salmon and grits, I like to melt some butter and shallots into a skillet. Usually about a half stick of butter, half of a shallot, a little bit of garlic, maybe about 3 cloves of garlic minced. And I'm gonna go ahead and just saute and melt that all together. Don't have your heat too high. And then I'm going to just saute that again. And then I'm gonna get a lemon. I love lemon on salmon. Lemon on salmon is so good. I'm gonna go ahead and zest some lemon zest into my skillet. I like to use a microplane for this. A microplane is very different from a grater just because, you know, your zest is actually coming out. Sometimes with the grater it doesn't always come out. Then I like to juice the lemons that I did that with. Fresh lemon juice, fresh lemon zest. I'm telling y'all, that makes such a difference. Even if you want to just use a lemon cream sauce with chicken, with steak, anything, this recipe is really great. I'm just going ahead and get all of that fresh lemon out of there. I'm gonna add a little bit of heavy cream or half and half to my skillet. You can add half a cup or a cup of cream, however much sauce you want to make. It's really up to you. And we're going to add some salt and pepper to that because, of course, we don't want a bland sauce. No one likes anything bland. And we're just going to go ahead and let that simmer, stir it around, get that nice and acquainted in your skillet. Once you do that, we're going to let that simmer only for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure you watch this just so that your sauce won't curdle. You want it nice and smooth and creamy. Have my pot of water boiling. You can boil your grits with water, chicken broth, half and half, whatever you have in the kitchen. But if you just have water, salt it a little bit, and you are going to whisk in your grits. I like to do 1 cup of grits to like 4 cups of water, or 2 cups of chicken broth and 2 cups of milk. And that way, if you use milk and chicken broth, your grits will be really creamy and they'll have a lot of flavor. You're gonna go ahead and whisk those in. I like to use yellow corn grits. Those are the fluffiest that I found. And also Bob's Red Mill corn grits are my personal faves. Once your grits are nice and fluffy, I'm gonna go ahead and add some butter, of course. Usually like half a stick if you're just making it for yourself. Then you're gonna add about a half a cup of milk or half and half or cream, whatever you have in the kitchen. And we're gonna whisk that all together with cheeses. I like to usually do 1.5 to 2 cups of cheese depending on how cheesy I'm feeling. You can use cheddar, mozzarella, any type of cheese that you have in your kitchen, whatever you like, whatever cheese you like. Go ahead and get that all whisked in. I'm gonna add a little bit more cream or half and half just to get things silky smooth just like this. Your grits should be nice and fluffy, but also thick, like a stallion. So I'm just gonna make sure that all of those grits are nice and incorporated, just like this. It'll take a little time for your cheese to melt. So just keep on whisking. Make sure that they don't burn at the bottom. Be very sure of that. Very, very sure. So our grits are done. They're looking really nice, very thick, very fluffy. Remember, if your kernels or like your grits are like the particles are showing, they're probably not all the way cooked. So just make sure that they're nice and fluffy, because sometimes grits can be undercooked and we don't want undercooked grits for this. I'm also gonna add a little bit of mascarpone just because I'm being extra. You can use cream cheese, sour cream also works if you want them just like nice and creamy, just like that. Those look so good. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and plate up my salmon. Gonna go ahead and do the grits. We added sauce to those grits, whatever plate that you have. I like to be a little fancy, so I'm using my little rose gold copper situation. Put that salmon fillet on there. Then you can garnish with fresh microgreens, fresh parsley. I love a fresh herb, y'all already know that. And there we go, we're done. That is what our salmon looks like. You can use this for brunch recipes, dinner recipes. And on the inside, we have a beautiful salmon fillet. Nice and flaky, just like a regular salmon fillet, but that outside is nice and coated. So I hope that you guys enjoy making this at home. Make it for your people. I hope they enjoy it too. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you have not already, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. I will see you guys very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Peace, love, and good food to you.